Dr. Bawumia is reading certain books that are not applicable to the needs of this country, and therefore people should take it with a grain of salt. He is clueless with what he's saying. It is as a result of the fact that he's run out of ideas. He's not been able to live up to the hype. He's been a political catastrophe, and now his political demigods are pushing him to continue, hoping that he will win for all these things that are currently happening, and that Akufo-Addo's regime can, move on. That's what it's all about. Bawumia is not coming in as his own man. Bawumia is being remote controlled, and we all know that. As a vice president, he's not even impressed himself to be able to stand on his own principle and say that since I became the vice president, I am the reason for the reason why ABC has happened, of which we can pride in as a country. He has no track record as a vice president. All he does is to read and laugh as if governance is a joke. And I think that Ghanaians would ask critical questions when the time is right. That what have you done? We gave you an economy for you to manage. We gave you an inflation that was almost at a single digit. We gave you a single deficit. As we speak, what's the status of Ghana's economy? You were the one standing on all platforms, academic platforms, reading all types of books, claiming you have all the solutions, to a point that you had every time in the world to write 175 questions, asking those in the steer or those in the seat to answer them. Today you have the opportunity, 7 years down the line, you've not been able to answer any of the questions. The first question, he's not even attempted it. So what is new? But Dr. Bawumia should also acknowledge that he will carry the baggage of Akufo-Addo. The death of Sware, he would have to answer to it. The death of the 8 innocent Ghanaians who were shot on the eve of election, he would have to answer for that as well. He would have to answer for the state of Ghana's economy. All the policies that they've run that has been a mere propaganda, he would have to show receipts. In the absence of that, I don't think that Dr. Bawumia has the moral right to even put himself out there. But of course, clearly it shows that he has no, the conscience of Dr. Bawumia is not breaking enough. I wonder if he can even look at the ordinary child in the northern region where he comes from and beat his chest and say, I have done a great job for you, and therefore your future will be bright. I don't think he can say that. And Sana, if you read that APPIAH document, you'd realize that they are using Dr. Bawumia. He is just a puppet of the Achim mafias. These are people that they claim that they have done so much for the country and they've not been honored enough. And therefore, they have to ensure that they take absolute control of the state resources, even when they are not in government, so that they can control the destiny of this country to the interest of their family, their heritage, etc. And unfortunately, Dr. Bawumia would have to be the sacrificial lamb. And that is what it is. That is what it is. Funny enough, let me cite an example for you. Dr. Bawumia talks about digitalization. And yet, when he went to Owusu Bempah's church and he made that donation, he gave him cash of 50,000 Ghana cedis or something to that effect. What happened to that electronic transfer that he's been boasting about? In one breath, you are pushing this agenda, but in real life, in practical sense, you are doing the opposite. Dr. Bawumia is not his own man. Dr. Bawumia has not lived up to the expectation. He is only going to continue this blood-sucking vampire agenda of this Achim mafia. And that's what it's all about. And I don't think that Ghanaians would give Bawumia that opportunity. He would have to answer to all the corruption scandals under Akufo-Addo. He would have to answer to all the crimes committed, the blood that has been shed under Akufo-Addo. He would have to answer all that. And if he satisfies himself with it, between him and Allah, the God that he worships, then he should come out and put his name out that he wants to contest. But in the absence of that, I don't think that he's bringing anything new. He's completely empty. He's never brought up any idea that has been fruitful to the interests of Ghanaians, and therefore no one should take him seriously now.
He says this sentiment that you just expressed is because those of you in the NDC know that is the biggest threat to you winning power in 2024. Are you afraid of him? That's why you are saying all these things?
Senna, we are concerned about the destiny of this country. We are afraid about the future of the next generation. We are afraid that if the unfortunate happens and someone like Dr. Bawumia, who is so ignorant and empty, take the seat of government, God forbid, we are already in the ditch. What will be left is for the sun to be poured on us, and that will be the end of us. We don't want to end this country at this moment. This country is supposed to grow. This country is supposed to be prosperous for the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. And we have to do everything to protect it. Yes. So we have that fear that if the unfortunate happens and he becomes the president, that will be the end of this country. So that's our fear. And that's why we're working so hard to ensure that persons who have no clue, persons who have no conscience, persons who are the models of incompetence do not get the chance to ever become president. Akufo-Addo is enough. Akufo-Addo is a whole mystery on its own. His administration has been a sham. It's been a disgrace. We've digressed and we've not made any progress. Look at our economy. Now Akufo-Addo is screaming all out, saying that the international rating companies are the reason why the economy is in tatters. We all know it's a blatant lie. Complete falsehood. Complete falsehood. It's the sheer incompetence, the greed, the gargantuan corruption under his administration is what has plunged the economy of Ghana in the current state. It has nothing to do with the international ratings. He knows better. What has that got to do with inflation? What has that got to do with the unemployment rate? What has that got to do with the stagnation of our infrastructure growth? It has nothing to do with word of mouth by anybody. So the level of excuses that they keep making, they started off by saying that we are struggling because of free SHS. COVID came, it became the excuse. Russia, Ukraine became the excuse. Now we've moved to a whole level of blaming the international rating companies. Aren't they a joke? Please. So give me any reason why we have to bring Bawumia. What credentials? What else is he coming to provide? Because in terms of the economy, he's a complete disaster. He's a non-starter. We can't use Bawumia as the yardstick. The least is for him to pack his bag and go back and learn something else. Get to the practical world so that he can become useful.
And he said he has demigods that are pushing him. Who are those demigods?
Then let's go back to the history of Bawumia. When did he become a politician? If you read, I think, Arthur Kennedy's book, Chasing the Elephant, the book, I think it was Kabul, right? And some few young gentlemen that suggested that, they push him, to be a running mate. At that time, records show that he was not even a card-bearing member of the NPP. And with his initial, his introduction, how he carried himself, clearly we all knew that this man is just, fresh. He's green. He's clueless about the environment that he was in. But for some reason, he's been pushed, groomed to become this propagandist at the forefront of the NPP, pushing the agenda of, the mafia. And that's what it is. He doesn't have a constituency on his own. He's riding on the tail of Akufo-Addo. Without Akufo-Addo, Bawumia is nobody in the NPP. Without Akufo-Addo, Bawumia is nobody in the NPP. Without Asaf Mafo, Bawumia is nobody in the NPP. And Bawumia will be nobody in the politics of Ghana. He carries no political weight on his own. Therefore, he's being pushed. He's a puppet to the Achims. And he's playing to the gallery, just, satisfying the agenda. And let's face it, the NPP as a political party do not respect the Northerners. We know it for a fact. Look how they treated Aliu and how they treated other Northerners. It just happened that Bawumia has been too much of a yes massa. Bawumia would just shine Akufo-Addo's shoe at any time just to be blessed. And therefore, they feel that to be able to protect the hegemony and what they've done, he is the best bet to push, because unfortunately for them, the Allen factor or the Kufuor factor completely disagree with them and may not treat them fairly as they anticipate. So that's why they're pushing Bawumia. So Bawumia is not his own man.
Arnold, we have to leave it here. Thank you very much for speaking to us. I think some time ago we have a discussion on this whole digitalization proposal that he's putting forward. But thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you for having me.
Arnold APPIAH is President DC Professionals Forum joining us. Let's say a happy birthday to Mr. Emmanuel Setre Asiedu, who is Group CEO